Hello, hello, hello. I needed a new washi border. Haven't even put that out yet, but I thought I'd do that while people are subjected to ads and all that fun stuff. So I've got a travel washi that I got in some CW pencil box. I don't know, at some point. Oh, I did that horribly. Washi tape. Great for things. This is a Kikuyu Karo cut. Especially some of my washi tapes don't rip very nicely. And so this has a little serrated edge and turns everything real nice in terms of like cutting edge and stuff like that. So I don't have to like break out scissors. I also did that horribly. Wow. The problem is I have to do this while looking at the screen because the point is I'm outlining where I am on the screen. Sometimes that doesn't work too well. Okay, I'm gonna try it this way where I take the piece off first. Cool. That's about right. Erg. Okay. And then we're gonna put it there. Is this exciting watching me washi? But cool, so now that's there. We have a new washi border, yay! Where am I? So what we have today, if you can't see on the title, like if you're on mobile or something. So this is one of my boxes of samples. This is box number 4, as you can see on there. I'm working backwards in the amount of inks I have, with pauses for as I get new stuff in. Here we are. So we've actually done all these inks. We're about here. And I've actually done these 3. So I only got like a couple more weeks in this box. So, oh boy, this is going to be a matte ink week. Which I mean, I knew when I typed the title. So first we have Atramentis Gold. Finding the right coloring to show you the swab. It's in here somewhere. So I know right away this is not going to be pleasant because I actually used this for the like new ink every day challenge thing back in like September, and this was one of them, and it was horrible. So there it is. It looks very pretty in a swab, but it is not legible. I can already tell you, but I'm going to do it anyway. So that way the information's out there. This is probably great for art. But yeah. And the other one is Sheaffer Purple, which is conveniently in my other coloring, so I can have them side by side. This is one of those like pale purples. This is not my favorite kind of purple. It's similar, it's like your standard like pen company like purple, like Murasaki Shikibu, Lilac Satin, like it just, this type of purple does not do it for me. Purple Mojo does because it's a little darker, but yeah. So that's what we got today. It's actually a very springy color set, which is, I guess, great because it's like April now? I don't know. I don't like spring, so this does nothing for me. Maybe this is my inks like punking me because it is April Fool's Day. I don't know, to give me 2 very meh inks. So yeah, we're gonna put the purple aside because we're starting off with the gold. Yeah, no, it does look very, very pretty in the swab. It's not, this is why you do writing samples. Because I've got a couple inks that I've had that look real pretty in the swab and then are just like terrible. One of them that really surprised me is Diamine Autumn Oak. People love that ink. I thought I would love that ink based on swabs, but I actually detest it. It just like, I have a visceral reaction to it when it's in writing. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it makes me go like, ugh, in writing. It just doesn't do it for me. Which I think I have a sample of that somewhere in the midst. I don't know. I might have given that sample away. We're approaching the part of my ink collection, once we get done with this box, where my samples, I have the samples, but how much is in each sample vial is going to be real spotty. So it might look like, oh, I have all these samples to do, but actually I have like a milliliter in each one. So it'll be real dicey. I might have to do like one pen at a time with that. Yeah, some of the old inks, how inks age is really weird sometimes. Like, the one I always think of is Waterman Florida Blue, which is now like Serenity Blue, which I say it's now, but like it's been Serenity Blue for like 10 years. I just have a really old bottle of Florida Blue. But like it goes down real pretty, and then after like a week or so, you look back and it's like really faded and really boring. So, yeah, so this is going to be a challenge because, like I said, I've already filled this, and it was a Goulet sample, so there wasn't much to begin with. So we're going to go real slow. Oh, am I, like, not even getting anything out of this? No, I'm not. Excellent. There we are. And that should be more than enough to do my rating samples. Oh, this is one that looks weird in a demo. It's got like a greenish cast in the demo. That happens sometimes. But yeah, this is where my lab skills come in handy, because I'm able to navigate that like you saw that I was able to navigate the fact that like basically holding it horizontally to cover the nib. Lab skills. Yeah, this one's much easier. Cool. This is also why a lot of people complain about small sample, like the Goulet samples, because they're 2 milliliters, and I'm like, I never had that problem. It's because I have the lab skills to be able to fill from very small volume amounts. I realized that, like, in the past year or so, I'm like, oh wait, it's just because, like, I actually have a specialized skill set that allows me to handle this. Whoops. And this one is not wanting to fill. Yeah, it's going to get dicey once we get to the other ones. Some of the like partially used Goulet samples that I have, it's enough to swab. Why is this not wanting to fill? It's more than submerged. Oh no, it is filling. It just, I couldn't see it because the air gap. Aqua is, so story time. My work week, it's not really a good story, but my work week is really light this week because I work as a private tutor. And with kids like all across the metro area, private school, public school, etc. So the spring breaks are all different. They're not like all the same week, but this week happens to be spring break for about half my students. So therefore they're like, why do we need a tutor? I do academic tutoring, so like they don't need help with classes because they don't have classes. So my week has been really light. My work week has been really light. Normally on Sundays I'm gone all day. That's my heaviest tutoring day. But yesterday I had one student, so I was home most of the day. Aqua was like, oh boy, this is fun times. I need to take advantage of this. So she, like, as she normally does in situations like this, was super clingy. Did not want to take a nap, did not want to eat, like take a break to eat. She was just like, I don't know when you're going to leave. I need to maximize this time. And so she exhausted herself yesterday. So today she's been very tired. Yeah, and that's the story of Aqua taking a nap in the blanket behind me. Because she overdid herself yesterday. I've got to sharpen my pencil. I never remember to do this before the stream starts. I remember to do a lot of other things, like I picked out my article. Yeah, essentially. It's my classroom friendly. I didn't have it on the table because otherwise it would shake the camera. You could just see like all the bump marks on this. Like this Blackwing has been so well loved. I've pretty much only used it for these reviews. But still made good headway on it and still managed to like damage it incredibly, even though I have only used it for these reviews. I don't know how I'm managing to do that. Okay. Oh, we're starting off with the cream paper. That's going to make this stuff look even worse. And I did consider putting on a Braves game, but apparently the Braves game isn't until like 7 p.m. So, okie dokie. And I did not get nailed by YouTube for Sportscast, so that's good. Now we know that. I probably could turn on NPR and that would be fine. But the problem is usually I want to listen to that. Especially right now is usually when like local news is on and stuff like that. And I do want to pay attention to that because, you know, I live here. It's pretty important usually to know what's going on. But yeah, so now we have to see how it looks. Oh boy, the good thing is the Atramentis inks are usually pretty wet. So it's probably going to be like nice to write with. You just won't be able to read it. You know what? This actually isn't bad. Maybe I just had it in a weird pen because I matched them. When I did this back in September, that challenge thing, I matched them kind of randomly. So maybe I just put it in a terrible pen. Oh no. It just went down darker and now it's lighter. It's just illegible. Oh, I should probably angle the mic so you could hear the scritch a little better. There we are. Yeah, this is not cool. I was gonna say, I never know how effective the scritching is with the mic angling, but yeah, this is a very directional mic. So yeah, like I said, I have it put. Aqua, where are you? Don't poop on the library book. This is an Aqua. She needs to poop. I'm gonna go put her in her cage. I'll be right back. Yeah, she's also been very grumpy with me. Just in general, because I've been working a lot. Because, like I said, this week is spring break, and because teachers are brilliant, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this in your education, teachers like to pile on tests right before spring break. Because it's like, oh yeah, then the teachers have all spring break to grade it. So while this week was very light, it's very light, last week was not so. Because people were like panicking. Which also meant that I was not home very much. And Aqua was like, well, this is not fair. I need love and attention, and this is not fair. And so now she's being clingy. It's like oscillating back and forth. And she also did the classic pet thing this morning of like, well, I'm hungry and I have food, but that's old food. I need new food. Yes, this barely legible ink. It's actually showing up much better on the screen than I thought it would. So I guess I could see, like, if you had this on a really, like, wide nib that's, like, really wet, it could work. But this very much more strikes me as an art ink rather than a writing ink. Oh boy. Brad Raffensperger. That's a name. Oh, of course. The governor that benefited from all the jankiness going on in the last election, who was also the Secretary of State that oversaw that last election jankiness, missed the deadlines to submit documents to the U.S. House that were investigating the jankiness. Of course. This is just the ongoing saga. So I know, like, over the summer and stuff, I transcribed a lot of articles that had to do with all the voting jankiness going on in Georgia. And of course I'm not going to stop doing that because I'm very interested to know how this plays out. And this article was buried deep in the Metro section of the paper, and I was like, oh, look, I found it, because nothing else that they headlined interested me. There was another, like, the big headline article today was, like, about the airport kerfuffle between the state and the city, and I'm like, I talked about this, like, a couple weeks ago. I don't care. The only reason I ended up doing an article about it is because I thought the article was going to be about other stuff that passed the legislature, in the legislature, not the airport. But yeah, so I looked through and I was like, oh, hey, look at this. This is interesting. Related. So this is way more legible in the wet pen, which, I mean, is to be expected. This is an undersaturated ink, so when you pour more ink down, it's like layering watercolors. It's more opaque. It's actually quite pretty in this one. But it also reminds me of, like, other inks. Like the Jacques Arbon and the G. Arbon ones. Where are they? There should be, like, right here. Yeah, these ones. That are prettier in swabs, but just like shades are too darker, so you can actually, they're legible in old pens. But it doesn't have like crazy shading that make it illegible. Like glue on just shades so much it hurts your eyes to look at it. Another art ink. I know I was like, oh, Raffensperger, what a name, but it's fun to write. Okay, yeah. Like I said, it's coming across strangely as much more visible on the webcam than it is actually like in real life. Like you can read it, but it kind of like there's some eye strain involved with these two. This is actually fairly legible. So maybe my groaning at this ink when I used it before was, like I said, a bad match in terms of pen. Okie dokie. I honestly don't remember. I could probably look. Because I do have a log. Because it was like months ago that it was in. I just remember being like recoiling from it. I have, so I did all my 30 inks, 30 days thing in this little booklet from Kernow that I got at the San Francisco Pen Show. This is a nice little book to document this because it had exactly 30 pages, so it worked perfectly. Oh wow, that one. This one's coming up. It looks very light purple in this, but it goes down as a very like bluish thing. It's very interesting. Oh, it was in my Lady Sheaffer. So it was in, well, my other Lady Sheaffer. So it was in this one, which this one normally has pretty wet flow. But you could see that was like illegible. So maybe the fine, like the fine nibs on these pens are actually like concentrating the ink more. So it like has to go in a narrower spot. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. Like it doesn't have as much. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's go continue. Because I am liking it much more in this than I was in that one. In that Lady Sheaffer. Oh, it's happening again in April? No, fuck no. I don't have... April's like always been a crazy town month for me, historically. I don't have time to do that. It was also a thing that, like, doing that meant that because I was doing, like, random number generator, it actually impacted the amount of ink level I have to do these reviews. Like, it's great. It would have been great if I wasn't doing these reviews because it would have forced me to use samples that I wasn't touching. But that's the whole point of these reviews. So it's like I don't need that vehicle. Now they're talking about these documents are like a production schedule. That's so strange. Yeah, I'm actually liking this a lot more in these like finer nibs. I wouldn't have expected that. Still not gonna get a bottle of it. Hell no. But it's working a lot better. Yeah, I'm actually like as I expected. I liked it least on the cream paper because cream paper tends to wash out golds like this. Golds and like orangey gold. Um, so I'm liking it more on like this off-white paper. It's a lot more legible. Like, I'm very surprised. I thought this would be a horrible experience, clearly, from how I groaned at the outset of this stream. and Spurger. I'm just so amused by the name. Yeah, this is much prettier than I was anticipating. There's some shading. Like I said, not enough to make it illegible. It actually is turning out very nice. And yeah, it's not coming across very well on the webcam because webcams. Desktop webcams never do a good job. Even if they do a good job capturing like faces, the second you turn them downwards, it's just shit. I don't know what it is, but like, it happens to Ink Dependence Mike, it happens to Brad Dowdy, it, like, everyone I've seen that it's like, oh, let's do a top-down webcam to show, like, inks and stuff, desk shot, it just never works. It only works well with, like, an actual camera. And this just emphasizes how much I still like Sheaffer Red. Don't know why I don't have a bottle of it. I really don't. I need a bottle of it. Such a good red. You can just see how pale the contrast with the Sheaffer Red up there really emphasizes how pale this ink is. Yeah, I know what it is. Like, you would think, like, clearly I don't have, like, a burning use for red. Because, like, I haven't, like, regretted the fact that I haven't picked up a bottle. It could also be that I discovered it right at the end of TAing, basically when I was grading a shit ton of papers. So, like, I didn't need it anymore. If I end up going and, like, getting a teaching job and everything, though, like an actual teacher teaching job, not like a tutoring job, then I'll definitely pick up a bottle, because, yeah, I'm using red on student papers, if that happened. I did try using oxblood on student papers, but they couldn't, like, it read brown to people, so it wasn't like, oh, I've written with your paper, on your paper with blood. It was more just like, okay, that's kind of a funky color. Yeah. So, kind of palish gold thing. It actually isn't as vibrant on the dot pad as it is on the other papers. I actually, when I go back and rate these reviews, tend to use the Kikuyo, because the Kikuyo I find has a nice balance of, like, sheen, shading, and showing off all the properties kind of on one page, versus Rhodia will show off some properties, the Tomoe River, because it's the Hipponoto Tomoe River, so it's cream and it's the heavier stock, which is what I prefer writing on, but, like, it doesn't show off the properties as well as the 52, I think, is the weight. The weight in the 50s for the Tomoe River. So yeah, the Kikuyo is kind of like my go-to for, like, okay, what properties does it have? Also, that's more representative of, like, I don't know, a lot of different papers. Like, Rhodia is its own thing. It's consistent, but it's its own thing. And then, of course, you have this one. Ye old crappy paper. Which this is always a fun one. And this is super helpful for like students or even like me. Because with my tutoring thing, I burn through notebooks because I just like basically do all my writing and use a little notebook as my whiteboard and all that. Also, so that way I have notes. But I burn through them so quickly. So I don't really want to like... There was a point when I was like, oh yeah, cool, an excuse to use all my notebooks. But then I burned through those and I was like, shit, I'm burning through these so quickly. Like I don't have the cash to keep dropping on these. Hey, what like dollar notebooks work well? And it reminded me why I hate cheap notebooks. It's not even the paper, it's the spiral binding that's just shitty and doesn't work too well. I mean, you can even see like when I flip it over, it's like kind of like it doesn't lay completely flat on the other side. That's what bothers me more than anything. So I want to write on the back side of the paper to be eco-conscious. Yeah, okay. Atramentis, the ones I've tested, have not had a good track record with shitty papers. Let's see how this one does. It's not even like snagging. I was worried about that because I am taking the spirals in and out of bags. And they've got a little messed up, but like it's definitely more just the actual folding over the paper. It's just like because it's a spiral rather than the twin ring thing that most of the Japanese and higher end notebooks use, like the actual like spiral doesn't work too well for folding over. You need the twin ring for a clean flip over. I was hoping, so my local pen shop actually closed on Saturday, but they had been, like, they had a stock sale where they were getting rid of, like, old stock, and they had a really good paper selection, but I couldn't find time to get there earlier in the month, because, like I said, it's ramping up testing season. Um, and when I'm in that part of town is when I'm, like, tutoring all day. I should have dropped by earlier. Like, I always had. Oh no, that's why. Because I'm like, I'm in that part of town. I have an awkward gap on Wednesdays in that part of town. But I was like, oh, I had to use it for things. I had to use that to, like, change the windshield wipers on my car. Or, like, write a bunch of documents, go, like, do some other errands. But yeah. So I was like, maybe I'll clean up and get, like, discount paper or something. But, like, they were totally cleaned out by the time I made it there last week. Where was I? There we are. Okay. So this has gotten remarkably not legible. Like, honestly, it almost looks like piss on this crappy paper. Not a pleasant sensation. Committee just has so many double letters. Like, it always astounds me every time I have to write it, the word committee. Which I'm doing a lot in this article because it's talking about like house committees, but it's just like, wow, lots of M's, lots of T's, lots of E's. Okay, so let's see. As per normal, all the letters look fuzzy because this is shitty paper. That's actually spectacularly bad bleed through and show through for an ink this light. The other inks that I've done that are this light, you can't see them as well through the paper, which I mean goes with the Atramentis. When I've done past the Atramentis, it's been really bad. I cannot write staples for some reason. Okay, so yeah. You don't even get the benefit from really light inks of it not have of it like, well, at least you can't see it on the inside of the page. Well, you can. It doesn't actually help you. Yeah, I would buy this ink if you're like an art person. But it's not a great writing ink. It's just not. Ta-da! It looks like piss. Such a roaring endorsement for your ink to look like piss. Okay, so let's see. We're emptying it, and then I'm gonna go, after I'm done emptying this, I'm gonna go wash the pen, or wash the pens, clean the pens, you know what I meant. Sorry, one of my neighbors is talking very loudly outside. I guess on his phone or something. But, yeah. So, see, I had more than enough to do this review. I only end up using like a milliliter per review, but it's just like getting the actual ink in the pens is a challenge if I am at a milliliter level in the vial. So yeah, I'm gonna go clean pens and I will be back. Okie dokie, I'm back. Aqua's also here. She's on my shoulder. We'll see if she behaves. It's always the trial with the old Aqua. Let's see. That should be good. Just getting all the extra. Aqua, what? Where's the nib? There it is. It was like the nib got lost in the cleaning bin. Yes, Aqua. What is it? Okay, you want to chew my ear. She does this sometimes. She likes nibbling at or licking my ear. Can't tell what the actual goal is. Ow! That chirp was directly into my ear. Like, beak in-ear chirp. I'm amazed I don't have hearing damage, and I know I don't have hearing damage because I actually had to get my hearing evaluated like 2 years ago or something. I forget what it was for, but I had to get it evaluated, and it came back, I was good for all the things. And I'm like, really? Considering how often Aqua has chirped directly into my ear at full volume, and I think I've mentioned this on here before, that she is as loud as the smoke detector, or the only thing louder than her are the smoke detector. So I'm not quite sure what that analogy implies, other than I know that show has something to do with zombies, and I don't do zombies. No. Like, most horror I can read, I can't watch. I can't really watch horror stuff, unless it's, like, more drama? I don't know. But, so I'm guessing that more has to do with, like, how they taste to a zombie? Rather than, like, any sort of anatomy fact. Yeah, this actually, like most of these purples, they look really pretty, like, as a liquid, but they dry and it's very meh. And okay, I guess we're cuddling now. Aqua is shoving her face into my neck, which is how she likes to cuddle. Like I said, she's been very attached to me these last few days because I haven't been at work as much as I normally am, especially last week where I was at work a lot. So she's like, ah, yes, must snuggle, must take advantage. What? What? That's her there's a thing noise, but there isn't a thing. Don't know what she's looking for. Okay, so let us write with the stuff. What is it? What are you looking at? I'm very confused. I'm not going to try to read into the mind of the burb. Because, yeah. Mainly because there has been numerous studies on this. Well, actually, I don't know if there's been studies, but there's been lots of studies on bird intelligence in general. And I think the consensus is that for lovebirds, their mental age is about that of a human 2-year-old. So it's hard for me to understand the mind of a 2-year-old, and therefore it is also hard for me to understand the mind of a burb. So I'm just gonna roll with it. Like today, she decided my nails were scary. Even though I've worn this nail polish many times before, and it has not been scary. I had it on yesterday. It was not scary yesterday. I don't know. Birds are weird sometimes. So let's see how this one goes. What the heck you are? Okay, this is actually going down much prettier than I expected based on the swab. In fairness to this shade of purple, I usually see the swabs and go, well, that's boring. I want nothing to do with it. So I haven't really written with a lot of them. The flow on this is really good. Yes, Aqua. Oh no, she's climbing down my shoulder. I think she wants to be involved. Yep. This is why I write with pencils. I have to put her away because she will destroy pencils. Aqua. I'm gonna Destructo bird. Gonna try and go on the other pen as well. Okay, back on the shoulder. It's strange. It goes down with a more pinkish hue, and then as it dries, it's drying a little bit more blue. Very interesting. Aqua's now back on my shoulder, and seems like she is satisfied with her little adventure down to the notebook. That's a odd name to have as an attorney, David Dove. Scrolling down. This article is like just the right length. I'm not going to run out partway through like I did with our lovely octopus, or not octopus, lobster story like a couple months ago. But it's not so long that I just never get to the end. Ha ha ha! That would be hilarious. And it also, it's like even more hilarious because for anyone that's watching either now or later that doesn't know, Daredevil's day job is a lawyer. Oh, that's great. Oh, I would so do that. I just dropped the cap. I would so do that. If my initials were DD and I was a lawyer, I would just like all the Daredevil merch. And I'd probably try and get some like licensing rights from Marvel or something just so I could incorporate it in my ads maybe. Or do like really like not quite copyright infringible references. I don't know, something about like avocados or something. Yeah, this is very strange. I like the color it goes down as. Back to the ink anyway. Sorry. So I like the color this ink goes down as, but how it dries, I'm not a fan. Like I like the more pinker, redder version of it. That's the wetness of the ink. It's drying towards this more blue tint I'm not a fan of. In general, that's how I like my purples though. I much prefer the redder tint purples than I do the bluer tint purples. Where was I? Yeah, speaking of like avocados, like and Daredevil, there's an artist that I've followed for years that has some really quality Daredevil reference jokes, including basically Matt and Foggy dressed up in giant avocado outfits. And I don't know if she's made them into like pillows or like other things, but like I need something with that on it. Maybe a sticker or something I could put on my car. Okay, so it seems like the governors and secretary of state's office has just like ghosted everyone in regards to this like investigating like voting issues in thing. Like they're not responding to Congress, they're not responding to the media, they're just like nope. Yeah, not, like I said, not a fan of the bluish lean on this purple. I understand other people like it. Clearly people like it because the pen companies keep making it. It's not my thing. Not my type of purple. I like these types of purples where it's much more red. Like look much more of a red purple. Or even like I even consider like dark lilac is just like straight up purple. That's what I think of when I think of purple. I don't think of this. What the heck you are? What? And now Aqua's whacking me in the face with her wing as she's preening. She's like leaning on my neck to stabilize herself. But it's also causing her to whack me in the face. Yes, Aqua. Are you going to go back down and explore the notebook? Yep, okay. She's heading back down. Oh, is it nap time? Aqua, where are you going? Hold on, Aqua wants to go somewhere. Hello, do you want to say hi to the camera again? No? No, you don't? Think you want to go back in the blanket for nap time? Oh, yes, you do. There you go. She wanted a little bit of up and excitement, and then she's like, okay, time for a nap. Yeah, the palette today is just so, I'm just looking at like both the Gold in this purple. It's a very spring, pale pastel palette, and I don't like it. Okay. So there is some really nice shading from this. I'll give it that. I just don't care for the color. It performs really well. It writes beautifully in old pens. Color's accurate to the swab. That's my shading, no sheen. But I don't really have a lot of sheeny inks in general anyway. Sheen's not my, it's nice, but I'm not going after the sheen monsters. It just goes down such a nice, like slightly pinkish purple, and then it just dries to the blue meh-ness. It makes me very sad. I'm looking at the bottom here because this is where, what was it, the other ink? Oh, Pavia Plume Ivy 108 had trouble last time. And I was like, I wonder if it's the hand oils. But this ink is not having nearly the trouble the other one did. So I don't think it's the hand oils. I think it's just the ink. Plus, Ivy 108 feathered pretty spectacularly on the shitty paper. So I think Ivy 108 just doesn't behave that well. Okay. So what I learned last time with the Sheaffer Red was that it performed remarkably well on shitty paper. Like, it was really good. So let's see if the purple is the same, because that would more than make up for the I don't know, less than appealing shade for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. That's such a vague description. Yes, a represented people required to produce documents for Congress. Like, okay, I guess, sure. Okay, so let's see how this performed. Not as good as the red. Much fuzzier letters. Bleed Through's pretty damn good, though. Like, it's better than the Atramentis, but most things are. But it's much better than most. It's pretty on par with the Bleed Through from the Sheaffer Red. So maybe that's Sheaffer's angle. Instead of boring colors, we perform well on shit paper. Which, I mean, given the direction American paper has gone, like, that makes sense for an old hat American company. tailor it to the needs of the paper that your customers have. Okay, yeah. So that's that. I'm probably going, so I'm gonna empty these and clean the pens. I'm probably gonna hop on a little bit later and stream me doing all the scans and everything because it's that time. I don't have anything lined up for this week ink reviews because I still need to do those scans, so that needs to happen. Preferably today because I do that best, like doing it right after ink reviews. And then while I'm talking, so basically for the month of April at least, it might stretch into May. Other than this week, I'm pretty much, things are going to be moving to Thursdays because the reason things the schedule has bopped around so much is because I have one student that just, like, his lacrosse schedule was just, it was never fixed. It was a different schedule every week, and that schedule came out on Sundays. And so it was like, had to change the time, had to be very nimble with the time. But lacrosse season is over, so I can nail down a time with him, and that time is Monday afternoons. And then I have students later on Mondays usually as well. So Mondays have now been booked with work, but Thursdays are open. So like I said, for the remaining, basically through the rest of the school year, which the school year here is really early, so at least through April, maybe a little bit into May, ink reviews are going to be on Thursdays, and Thursdays later, so like that 5 p.m.-ish time that like they had been on Mondays, and then we'll probably switch back to Mondays after the school year ends. And then I'm also actively looking for a new job, so who knows, it's also going to change depending on employment situation. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted, but like I said, for the foreseeable future, at least month of April, Monday ink reviews are now going to be Thursday ink reviews. Yeah, so thank you for joining me this fine Monday. And yeah, have a good week. Bye!